Hey everyone, Tony D with a Hollywood hot take. I'm going to try to keep this one short because I've taken like 5 takes of this and they've gone on. I've just rambled endlessly. So smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Woke a Stand novel, sequel, first draft. Just finished it up. We're working on it as we speak. And of course, The Pineys, books 1, 2, 3, and 4 available. Ebook, trade paperback, Kindle. Unlimited is free at Amazon.com. All right, Kathy Griffin. Just going to talk about Kathy Griffin. This week, she doubled down on her weird Trump derangement syndrome and kind of basically implied another threat against Trump. And, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for her to understand that this is not a good road to go down to. Okay, if she's rich enough and she doesn't care if she ever works again, fine. Be rich and say whatever you want on Twitter. I mean, that's what James Woods is doing, right? James Woods, he's conservative and he's out of the conservative closet, as it were. He's on Twitter supporting the president and saying a bunch of things. And he said in an interview at some point, I fully expect never to work in Hollywood again. It's probably true. Kathy Griffin is not going to work probably for other reasons. She's made herself kind of radioactive. She's gone so far left. She went too far, really. And this is why a lot of celebrities, most celebrities, shouldn't get involved in politics. If you're an actor, especially, actors, you're just there for the image. And once you sort of taint that image, it's really hard to get out of that. Once someone sees you as something terrible, I'm a writer, so people judge me more by my work than my face. It's different on YouTube, but for my writing, they're not necessarily seeing me when they read a book, a comic, or a book. But for an actor, I mean, seeing them is everything. So it behooves you to just stay out of politics. Just stay clear of it. And look, you have a vote. You certainly can donate money or and make appearances, but there's a certain dignity to it. I don't agree with Bernie Sanders. I'm not a socialist, but I know that Danny DeVito is a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders. But what does he do? He doesn't beat me over the head night and day about Bernie Sanders. He supported him. He went to a rally, introduced him. I'm sure he's donated money. He's a supporter of Bernie Sanders, and he's not a jerk about it, right? If Kathy Griffin decided she wanted to support Joe Biden, fine. Support Joe Biden, introduce him to some place and hold a big dinner for him and raise money, but be dignified about it. Don't lecture the rest of us or do some kind of crazy art project where you hold up a bloody head of his opponent. I mean, it was beyond. It wasn't funny. It wasn't fun. It was just gross and weird and unnerving. It just shows you, how far some people have gone off the deep end in terms of Trump derangement syndrome. Look, I'm a libertarian, and I have certain things I believe. I do political comics, but, I'm not necessarily telling you what to do. I think, and I've said, I think the Democratic Party needs to be punished, and I think you shouldn't support them, at least in this cycle. But, beyond that, I'm not going to, rail against you or call you stupid if you support them. I understand there are people who are Democrats that they have different views than me. And that's fine. You may believe gun control works. I don't think it works. We all have differing opinions, but we can discuss them politely and come to a consensus. But if you can't, if you get too emotional for your own mental well-being, you have to stop. I know some people who get too upset when they discuss Trump. They They lose all perspective and they just get so angry. You cannot go there. You just don't want to. And so I don't when I'm around them. I try not to discuss politics at all because it just sets them off. Now, whether that's the result of the media or just their own politics, internal politics, I don't know, but it's best that you don't irritate those people. But if you have someone like Kathy Griffin, who's a very public figure, and she just keeps going on and on about Trump, what are you supposed to do? You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. This is kind of what TDS does to some people. She's still out there being resistance, Kathy. I can't see what the results are other than, you know, she probably gets a lot of praise on Twitter for doing that, but Twitter is an illusion. Twitter is not going to fill the seats at a comedy show for Kathy Griffin. Twitter is not going to make a movie and cast Kathy Griffin as the funny mom or the crazy sister. You know, the career part of being a comic is important. But if you feel that your politics is more important, and I think Kathy Griffin has reached that point, then there's nothing you can do for Kathy Griffin other than kind of ignore her. And people will, I think, ignore her in the years to come because she won't have a platform anymore. She won't be able to get one. No one's going to want to hire someone they feel is unstable. You know, it might do something that's so over the line that you're going to get sued or you're going to get a visit for the Secret Service. You know, even people on the left were kind of, whoa, that was a little too much from Kathy Griffin. Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of hard lefty people who loved what she did. But those people are very tiny in number. Those hardcore Bernie bros, the communists and socialists who want to start a whole revolution and rewrite all the history of this country, very tiny group of people. You cannot, just like a politician, you cannot cater to that tiny group. You have to cater to a broad group. And you have to go back to doing relationship comedy and observational comedy and stuff that makes people laugh. And if you're going to try to reinvent yourself as a political comedian, well, then you need to know stuff about it. You need to be well read. And, you know, the one thing I'll say about Bill Maher, I never thought he would have been my first choice to host Politically Incorrect. But, you know, over the years, I think he's become more well read in that stuff. You know, I always thought Dennis Miller would have been the guy for Politically Incorrect. Because he seemed to be very well read and have a huge vocabulary. But, you know, it was Bill. And then over the years, he got more and more sophisticated with his opinions, I think. And he seems to know some things. At least he seems to have a broader perspective than most of the people on his side of the liberals. He's willing to call people out. You know, Kathy is just another TDS sufferer. And, you know, sadly, it's not funny, and I don't think it's going to put, you know, asses in the seats, as they say.